What's up, people? Good morning. Well, maybe good evening or afternoon. Not sure when you watch this, but welcome, regardless, to English 1102. I am Mr. Byers. I will be your instructor for this course. Uh, I'm not a professor. I'm not a, I don't, because I don't have a doctorate. I have a master's degree. So you can call me Byers or Mr. Byers. You do not need to refer to me as Professor Byers because technically I'm not a professor. You don't refer to me as Dr. Byers because I don't have a doctor. Because I have a master's, you could call me Master Byers, but that has a weird sound to it. So don't like that. So instead, it's just Byers. Okay. I'm Byers. My name is Jeremiah. You can refer to me as Jeremiah. That's fine as well. I've been teaching for Gwinnett Tech for 6 years, I think, maybe. I've taught college in general, 1101 and 1102, and intro to literature for 15 years, for a long time now. And I'm also a high school teacher at Parkview High School. Yay, rock on, go Panthers. I'm decked out in zero school wear, so there you go. I'm recording this one in my classroom, and I might go ahead and record week twos and possibly week three lectures in my classroom. And then after that, I'll be recording these at home over the summer. This class is going to be mostly asynchronous. I found that in the summertime, when I have live sessions, no one comes to them. No one shows up. They are generally not productive in that way. So I tend to just like to record them and then post them and then do a follow-up. What I'll do is for live lectures, I will probably each week, I'll put up a sign-up sheet and say that I'm willing to do a live lecture on, let's say, Friday morning at 10 a.m. Okay. If you would be present for the 10 a.m. Friday morning live lecture, then fill out the form. And if I get some people who say yes, then I'll do a live lecture at the end of the week that is kind of going over the work that we've done, Q&A, kind of re-emphasize, reteach some stuff. But if no one fills it out and nobody is saying that they want to do it, then I'm not going to do it, which is fine. I mean, like, I like this, but I know that there's some people though who want to be able to ask live questions. They don't want to email me or questions, or maybe it's just a question that's too hard to be answered over email, and I totally get that. So we will do live sessions, but they are not going to be required. You're going to sign up for them just to ensure that it's worth doing. And then I'll carve time out for that. But for the most part, I will always be posting these recorded lectures on Monday mornings. Okay. In terms of this class, it's like an earthquake. In terms of this class, the schedule is our weeks begin on Mondays. I know that, like, it seems like in some of the Gwinnett Tech stuff, Sunday is begins the week, but not for me. Our class, I'm always going to be posting new stuff and posting lectures on Mondays. Okay, so Monday through Sunday is our weeks. And let's see, that's okay. So I'm going to go over everything that you need to know to do well in this class. I make this class super, super easy for those of you who pay attention, read my material, watch my videos, and do exactly what I've asked you to do. Okay. I don't I don't really require you at all to try to figure things out on your own for the most part. I try to cover 99% of everything you need. Okay. Now, some of this stuff though, I do expect that you have previously learned. Okay. Because you did take 1101 and there were certain things that you're supposed to have learned in 1101 and that I expect that you have done for 1102. Okay. So for this today, I'm going to go over just a lot of stuff. Okay. And another good thing about this being a recorded asynchronous lecture is that you can watch at your leisure. You can pause it. You can rewind it. You can go back. All right. I'm not going to try to fill it in with a bunch of dead space. So everything is useful. All right. All right. So let's go to I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go look at the home page. Okay. When you log in, these are our announcements. When I post announcements, they get sent out to you via email as well. I'm recording this on Thursday, so some of these announcements might look a little bit different for you when you log in for the first time. I believe you're going to have access to this on Sunday. So what you'll do is, all my announcements go to your emails. I do contact you a lot through these, so you should be checking your Gwinnett Tech email consistently to see if you get any notices from me. Okay. All right. So let's go to, what I want you to do is go to lessons. I'm gonna have everything always laid out in lessons. So the first thing is to go to lessons. All right. And you'll see, if you're looking at this, I have all the weeks laid out. All right. Now, currently, I'll only have you access to week 1 and week 2. I have limited access for y'all for the future weeks, mainly because I cover so much specific stuff and information in my lectures that in the past, I've noticed that some students have tried to move ahead and complete assignments in the future weeks. And then they miss things that I've discussed in the lectures, and they have received low scores on their work because I have for that week, like let's say, for example, week 4, if someone completed the week 4 assignment before week 4 even started, and then during week 4, I post a lecture about exactly what I want from this assignment. And so then the students who did not watch the lecture prior to completing the work got lower scores because they didn't do what I asked. So to avoid that from happening, I just went ahead and I've had students submit papers way early, and they essentially failed them because they didn't do half the things I discussed in the lectures that I wanted them to do. So this is an asynchronous style course, but it requires that you follow all of my directions and that you watch my lectures. Okay. So just to avoid all of that, I locked many of these weeks. Okay. But I did unlock week 1 and 2 because some of you, they're kind of connected. So some of you might want to go ahead and get started on the week 2 work if you get done with everything in week 1. All right. So there we go. So go to the week 1 folder. And in it, I have all the important stuff that you need to do. Okay. Now, week 1 contains the most important document, the most important document that you need to follow. All right. And that is the list of assignments and due dates. This is the main thing that you need. Okay. There's a calendar. So, oh yeah, course calendar. I'm going to hide that because hide link. But even though I hide it, some people still try to find this course calendar. The course calendar was made by the school, and these 1101 and 1102 classes, they're designed initially by the school and for a brand new instructor to just come on and start teaching it right away. I, though, change my class. I keep the core assignments, which are 3 major essays, which I'll go over later, but I change everything else. And so I don't do most of the things that the other 1102 classes do. So this calendar is generally made for 1102 across the board for all classes. So I don't acknowledge that. So do not, if you have access to the course calendar or you see it or something pops up about it, ignore anything from the course calendar. The only thing you need to care about is this list of assignments and due dates document. When you open this up, I mean, I don't know, every time I record this week 1 lecture, I always re-download it, and even though I have it saved on my hard drive. So now I have like 800 different copies of this saved. All right, so this tells you each thing that we're going to do each week and what is due. Okay. Here has some important information here. All right. We have the assignments, lectures, and due dates. I have this little star, which tells you everything is subject to change. For the most part, I don't plan on changing anything, but sometimes in the later weeks, I might readjust depending on your performance and how y'all are doing and me figuring out, like, reevaluating where we're headed. Okay. So the way you read this, though, is that these columns go horizontally. All right. So this is all week 1. We have the dates in which the day begins. All right. We have the main things I'm going to discuss in each of the lectures. All right. I've already completely written the lectures out for weeks 1, 2, and 3. I might even record them all very soon. And so those are pretty much what you see here is what you're going to get. Like today, we are talking about all these things. Intro to the class, kind of already did that one. Everything you need to know to do well in this class. That's what I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to get to these other ones. The lectures for week 1, 2, and 3 might be split up into 2 parts because there's this method that I use called front loading. I front load you with all the essential major standards that you need and skills that you need to master throughout the whole course of the semester. And then all the assignments throughout the semester just reinforce those skills and standards. All right. So we cover a lot in the beginning, and then new material is pretty much done after week 3. And the rest of it is then just reteaching, re-emphasizing, re-demonstrating, editing, all this kind of stuff. All right. So for the first couple of weeks, I might be posting you. I don't want to drop an 1.5 hour long lecture. So I might do like 2 30-minute lectures. And you watch one, and then you watch another. I post these on YouTube, and it's not always easy to go back to where you left off on a YouTube lecture. So it's much easier to have like a 30-minute lecture and then another 30-minute lecture rather than having 1 hour-long lecture when it comes to YouTube. Okay. All right. So so we have lecture topics, what I'm going to be discussing. All right. I kind of wish this was a live document that when I edit mine, it edits all of y'all's, but that's just not the way it is. All right. But as you can see, we only have 8 weeks. This is an 8-week class. Normally, and that also explains why some of these weeks, first couple of weeks, are going to be so long, because for each week of work that we're covering, that is essentially 2 weeks in a normal class. A August to December class is 16 weeks. January to May 16-week class. Summer classes is an 8-week class. So we're doing 2 weeks worth of stuff per week. So moving fast. All right. So we have 8 weeks. This tells you this is the date for all the Mondays. The Monday, the 20th, Monday, the 27th, Monday, the 3rd. Day before July 4th. Oh, wait, no, that's not July 4th. July 4th is in July. Stupid. Okay. And then this tells you what you're going to do that week. All right. The bolded texts are assignments, grades in the grade book. The things that are not bolded are tasks that you need to complete. Okay, but they're not graded, but they impact your grades. And then you'll see the highlighted essay 1, SA2, and SA3. Those are your major assignments, which I'm gonna go over the way that this is all scored. Well, I'll go that anyways. All right, so here we have this week you're doing take the welcome quiz. This counts as your attendance for the week, which is required to not, oh man, to not be dropped from the course. So you got to do that right away. You need to do that today because I have to put in no shows by Friday. Friday, I got to put no shows in. So, which technically speaking, you should have Saturday and Sunday to be able to do this. But if you don't, I'm supposed to drop you from the class. Okay, so you need to make sure that you do this welcome quiz before Friday. 3, take the MLA quiz. This is a quiz that's written by the school. MLA was supposed to have been mastered last semester, even though we also expect that it probably wasn't. So this semester we reinforce completely MLA formatting. Must receive an 80 to move on to other assignments. Quiz 2, grammar and MLA. Again, listen, every semester I emphasize MLA formatting is an essential part of this class. Yet for whatever reason, there are plenty of students who don't ever master MLA formatting. And I'm like, that is the whole point of this course. So we're going to have weekly quizzes pretty much over different things, different parts of MLA formatting, because the majority of your grade in this class is based upon your performances on SA1, SA2, and SA3. And so much of your grade on SA1, 2, and 3 are impacted by MLA. And so I'm gonna have all these quizzes leading up to the submission of your paper to make sure that you really understand these things, so that way you don't lose tons of points in your papers. Okay. Then you are going to, so you're gonna have this quiz, this second quiz. This is more, quiz 1 is more like, it's written by the school and it's more facts, things about MLA. Quiz 2 is application of these facts. So quiz 2 is going to be samples of student work, and then you looking at it, seeing whether or not it's done correctly or not. All right. Quiz 1 is about the rules. Quiz 2 is application of those things. Number 5, and I'm going to show you where to find this work. You're gonna pick a chapter to read from this book. Wow, no, thank you. And then you're going to complete the Samantha Irby assignment, which I'm going to go over. Okay, so all this tells you what you're doing every single week. Okay, every week. And if you notice, it's heavy the first couple of weeks. There's a lot of stuff. And then it starts tapering off and it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay. All right. So, and then this kind of gives you an understanding of the grades. All right. Currently, we have about 16 classwork assignments and just 3 essays. But all classwork assignments add up to only 20% of your overall grade. While these 3 essays, SA3, SA2, and SA1, those add up to 80% of your overall grade. Okay. So these matter way more than these. All right. All these assignments up to less than what 1 essay is worth to your overall grade. Not doing 1 essay, not turning in essay 1, for example, is essentially like not turning in any of these 16 assignments. Okay. So I say all of that to say that your essays are the most important thing. And I'm telling you right now, all our assignments that we're doing, all the assignments, they're not busy work. All the assignments relate to your essays. If you do well on all the assignments, then you're going to do well in the essay, which is why the assignments are important. Okay. All right. So make sure you download that. Let's see. The time is 8:40. I'm going to record as much as I can until about 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to cut it off. And this will be part 1. And then I'll record part 2 when I have more free time. All right. So there is that. You need to do the welcome quiz right away. because if not, then you'll be dropped from the class. This is, if you do anything today, it's the welcome quiz. So before you take the quiz 1 MLA formatting and documentation, all right, before you take this quiz, look at the study guide. The study guide has all the questions that the quiz is going to ask you. It doesn't have the answers. No, that would be too easy. But it does have the questions. These are all the questions that are on this quiz. All right. How should an MLA heading look? How does the date in the MLA heading be formatted? How should an MLA header look? How much space should there be between lines? If you can answer all these, then way to go. Now look, your grade on this quiz is an average. So if you take this quiz and you make a 70, and you want then which means that you have to at least make an 80 on this quiz there's essentially an algorithm where this quiz has everything blocked. If you don't make an 80, then everything's blocked. Okay, so you got to keep retaking the quiz until you get an 80. Now let's say you take this quiz and you make a 70, and then you retake it and you make a 100. Well, the grade in the grade book is going to be an average grade, an average of the 70 and the 100. So your grade in the grade book is going to be an 85. If you are one of those people who are like, I got to make an A in this class, I got to make an A in this class, then you would need to do well the first time around. Okay. I am not one of the teachers who offers tons and tons and tons and tons of retakes. Okay. So first time around, that's it. So if you don't really look at these study guides, you don't really try, and you're, I'm just gonna, go through the quiz and see what happens. Okay, just know that when you retake it, doesn't matter how many more points you make on the second time, your grade's gonna be averaged between those. All right. So if you want an A, you got to earn the A the first time around. So make sure you can answer all these questions. All right. And then once you're ready for that, once you've done all of that, then you can take this quiz. Now the quiz 2 is different. There are no retakes for this quiz. All right, no retakes of this quiz. This is hidden. I need to unhide this. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Edit, make available. There we go. There are no retakes of the of quiz 1. I'm sorry, of quiz 2. All right. Now, everything that you need to know about quiz 2, I go over in today's PowerPoint. All right. So I'm about to go over that right now. I'm going to open this up and start moving through this. You should definitely watch my lecture before taking quiz 2. All right. And quiz 2 is not locked. There's no retakes. From this point after quiz 1, all the quizzes are no retakes. Everything in the quiz is covered in my PowerPoints. In fact, you could open up my PowerPoint notes, and as you go through the quiz, use your notes. I don't care. Okay, it's not closed notes. I'm not requiring you to do it from memory, but you get one chance to take the quiz, and that's it. There's no averaging. There's no nothing. So if you don't really watch the lecture, I mean, even though you're watching the lecture right now, and you don't pay attention to the PowerPoint, and you don't look at the notes, and you take the quiz and you make a 40 on it, well, that's it. But guess what, though? It doesn't really matter, because as I've gone over on this sheet, okay, that the quizzes are a classwork assignment, and each quiz is only worth 1.25% of your grade. So whatever. Okay. One last thing before I get into the PowerPoint. Syllabus. Here we go. Okay, so you need to go over the syllabus. You need to look at it. It has all the things that we discussed. The main thing with 1102, just so you know, is that this class is about mastering MLA formatting and using sources. 1101 was MLA formatting. So you should have learned that. But the school assumes that you didn't learn it as well. So 1102 is MLA formatting and using sources. All right. Formatting a paper in the college style, because every single class you go to from this point forward, it's going to expect you to be able to format a paper correctly and being able to use outside sources and integrate the quotes and create citations. 1102 is one of the only classes that's meant to impact all of your other classes. The skills you learn in 1102 is important for when you take government and you got to write a term paper, when you take anthropology or psychology, and you have to write papers, sociology, you write papers, your a history class, and you got to write a paper. Okay. This class is not about you remembering literature. Nothing we read in this class is important for you to know in other classes. It's the skills. This class is to teach you writing skills that will be used in all your other classes. All right. So you have to show mastery of those. I don't care about your interpretation of literature in this class. I care about your ability to write a paper, to format it correctly, for it to be error-free, and for it to use outside sources with integrated quotes. Okay. Now, just some specific stuff here that you should just pay attention to. My additional policies. Okay. Everyone will be held accountable to what I post in the announcements. Make sure that you read those. When I post a video lecture link, it is required to be viewed. Students will be held accountable to anything I discuss in these videos. Any type of specific directions or points that I make in these videos will be expected to be followed by all students. All right, so you got to do that. Yeah, you have to watch these lectures, which, I mean, if you're doing it now, you're doing it. Way to go. Emails will be replied to within 28 to 48 hours. If you email me and I do not get back to you within that period, simply re-email me again. Make sure your tone is kind and professional. When contacting me, if an email is voiced in an inappropriate, rude, demanding, or entitled tone, I hold the right not to respond at all. We're going to be professional in this. You can be silly and funny, and kind, funny, silly. Those I deem also professional. Okay, but in terms of attitude, sounding like a jerk, that's unprofessional. You may not use any AI chat resources for this class, chat GPT, any of that stuff. If any of your work is suspected to be AI generated, then I will run it through 4 online detectors. And if it comes up as positive in at least 2, then it will not be accepted. Okay. So then I just kind of go over an example of this. The first time a paper is deemed unacceptable, then the student may rewrite the essay with a late penalty, resulting in the highest grade possible as a 70. The second time a paper is deemed unacceptable, then it will not be accepted, and the grade will result in a 0. Okay. All right. If you are a music person, BB, this is not a B flat. This means Blackboard, just so you know. Your grade book will be kept on the Blackboard learning management system. Okay. I have hinted to this already about how the essays 1, 2, and 3 add up to 80%. Essay 1 is 20% of your overall grade. Essay 2 is 25% of your overall grade. Essay 3 is 35% of your overall grade. And then everything else adds up to 20%. So these are really, really important. Okay. Grades for late assignments will start at a 60. If the work doesn't meet the requirements or in poor quality, then a grade lower than 60 may be given. All work can be turned in up until the point I graded, with the exception. Oh, hold on, I'll get to that. Meaning, if the assignment is due on Monday, but I don't start grading the assignment until Friday, there's no grade deduction if you turned it in late, as long as the assignment was there by the time I started grading it. Okay, so you submit assignment, let's say today, I'm going to go over the library, the Samantha Irby assignment. I'm going to go over this. Okay, let's say while this is due next Monday, You don't turn it in until Wednesday. But I don't start grading. Let's just say it was a busy week, going to the pool, hanging out with my kids, I don't start grading that assignment until Thursday. Well, as long as it's in the inbox by the time I start grading it, then cool. All right. Don't email asking me when I'm gonna start grading the work. Okay. Some mornings I might wake up and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good. And so on some Mondays, I might grade them very early. Like for example, you will be turning in this annotated bibliography. This will be due Monday morning by the 3rd. And if you look here, I'm going to be grading those that morning because I'm going to be talking about them on in that lecture, and that very much in that lecture right there, right? So like that is me being held accountable that I have to start grading these annotated bibliographies as soon as they're submitted, so that way I can pull a few of them and go over them in the lecture. All right. So some weeks I will be grading the papers as early as Monday morning at 5 a.m. Other assignments, I might not be grading them until Wednesday. All right. Now, I will not be grading any assignment before 5 a.m. on Monday mornings. So this is, so let's say, this assignment, while it needs to be completed during week 1, it can be turned in as early as Monday morning by 5 a.m. on the 27th. All right. So I don't look at when you turned it in. I just want to know that it's there by the time I start grading it. If it's there, then great. If it's not there, when I'm done grading everybody's, and you get a 0 in the grade book, that 0 can be replaced with a 60 once you resubmit it. Okay, or actually once you submit it for the first time. Now the only exception will be the quizzes. Quizzes. There are at least 6 quizzes, and they cannot be made up after the due dates. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. They are automatically graded. Once you complete the quiz, it's automatically graded. So once the due date and time has passed, they will automatically report to the grade book. All right. And you can't take them after they're due because look here. So like quiz 2 is due this week. If you don't take quiz 2 by the time Monday comes around, you can't take it because I go over the answers of quiz 2. You cannot retake you can't take the quiz after I've gone over the quiz in the lecture because the answers are out there. All right. And I don't have to grade these. The computer grades these right away. I did the job of entering all of the quizzes into Blackboard and putting in the answer key. And so then the computer grades it right away. So if you miss this due date, if you miss taking the quiz, then that's just lost points. Okay. If you don't turn a written assignment in on time, and you get a 0, you can still turn that in late for a late grade. All right. So there's that. And look, y'all, you have somewhere around 16 classwork assignments, which are only worth 1.25% each, which means that you cannot complete half the assignments. If you make an A on all of your papers and only do 8 of the assignments, you can still get an A in the class. All right. Because 3 essays count for 80% of your entire grade. So really, if you could just not do any of the assignments and only do the 3 essays, make A's on all those essays, and come out with a B in the class. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. Okay. So I'm not going to break my back to grade all of your late work. All right. And because each assignment's only worth 1.25%, I don't want you to break your back either. All right. And honestly, listen to me. I am not about assignments. I took when I was in college, all the classes I took, we didn't have classwork assignments. To me, a class where all I have is 3 essays, I'm getting an A in that class. I'm getting an A. A class where I have a bunch of classwork assignments. Okay. And so these assignments that I have laid out for you, they are meant to help you with all of your essays. Essay 1 is worth 80%. 80%. All right. So the reason why we have these MLA quizzes is because so many people end up getting low grades on their essays because they're not demonstrating competency with MLA formatting. So if I have quizzes over the formatting, then that sort of like forces the students beforehand for the paper to really learn how to properly use MLA formatting. Okay. The citations, this right here, anti-bibliography. This is an assignment that's forcing you to do research for Essay 1 because Essay 1 requires research. So this motivates kids to start doing the research early. All right. This form is a grade because, and I'll go over this later, because Essay 3 is going to be written about an independent novel. Well, I've learned that if I don't have a grade that's holding kids accountable to doing work that really pays off later on, they don't do it. All right. So like here we have an outline. I'm requiring you to write an outline for Essay 1 because essays who have outlines are always better essays than essays who don't have outlines. So by forcing you to write an outline, I'm ensuring that you have a better Essay 1 because this Essay 1 is worth more points than all of these assignments combined. All right. So all of these classwork assignments are, none of these are busy work. None of this is just like, I need them to be, pushing their pencils and turning stuff in. All of it builds to Essay 1. And Essay 1, I want every single person to make 100 on all their essays. And so if we can go ahead and identify all of your errors with these lightweight classwork assignments, then you can get all those fixed and understood your deficiencies and master them by the time you get to Essay 1, which is a huge grade. All right. I mean, there are students who make 100s on all their assignments and they have 100 in the grade book, and then they make a 75 on Essay 1 and their grade drops down from 100 to like a 76, and they don't understand why that is. And I'm like, it's because the essays count for so much of your grade. Okay. And all the classwork works to perfect the skills that I'm going to be testing or grading you on for the essays. All right. So everything is very deliberate, and at no point am I ever trying to waste your time. Okay. I do have a history of beating a dead horse, meaning talking something into the ground. But the reason why I talk it into the ground is to make sure that there is no excuse for someone to not learn something, because I keep reiterating it over and over and over again. Okay. All right. So let's look. So those are my policies. That's the syllabus. Week 1. All right, so I've gone over that, gone over syllabus, gone over a list of assignments and due dates. I've discussed the importance of the welcome quiz. If you do not take the welcome quiz by Friday, then you will be dropped from the class. And it's very simple. You go to it, you hit begin. There's one question. Have you read the syllabus and understand the course requirements, including attendance? Also, have you read the syllabus and do you understand that the textbook is online? Do you understand that if you have questions or need clarification that any rules of this class or assignments that you should immediately contact your instructor through blah, 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 blah. And you click yes. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right now. All the stuff that you need to read is provided through the class. It's all on here. It's all on 1102. All right. So the textbook, everything, every single thing that you're gonna need to read is provided through here. Okay. There will be some stuff that you will have to provide, you have to find online, but that's not a big deal. All right. So I've gone over all this stuff. So all you have to do is hit yes and click save and submit. Okay. And that's it. It's one question. It's just one question. All right. It's a grade, and it keeps you from being dropped from the class. All right. So make sure you do that. All right. I'm going to end this lecture right now. This is part 1 lecture. I've gone over the list of the syllabus, assignments, due dates, welcome quiz, how to navigate the class, where everything is. All right. The assignments. In part two, I'm going to go over the week 1 PowerPoint. It is all of this. All right. It's 39 slides. I go over MLA formatting. I go over writing titles. I go over using quotation marks. I go over parenthetical citations. I go over integrating quotes. I go over the semester novel, and I go over this week's work in it. All right. And so watch that before you do at least quiz 2. Watch it before. In fact, I need to go ahead and I'm going to edit this and say, make sure to watch the lecture before taking this quiz. Make sure to watch, lecture part 2. At least watch lecture part 2 before taking this quiz. Okay. And down here at the bottom, I have the week 1 PowerPoint notes. So you can look at these. It's in the form of a PDF, and you can read through them as I'm going over. You can print them off and write notes down. You can circle. You can do whatever you want to do if you want to do that. You don't have to do any of that, but I have it all here for you. This way you can also refer back to the notes without having to rewatch the video. Okay. So that will be covered in part 2. I might be wearing this in part 2 if I'm able to record this later on, or I might be in a whole new outfit because it is only for a Thursday, and this is not going to be posted until Sunday. So, all right, take it easy. Peace out. Bye-bye.